All right. So, you ready for the first question?
I'm ready. Oh yeah, yeah. I love questions. So let's get it.
Good. What did you have to eat?
Oh, that's the first. That's easy. I had I
First
had
question.
I had falafel
Ah,
with
nice. I like falafel. Good,
yeah,
good. Okay.
yeah, with like these Greek potatoes. It was flame.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of
Yeah.
Greek food. I'm assuming you are as well.
Just falafel. Just falafel.
Just okay.
That's as far as I've gone thus far. But like falafel is just amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is. There's a place called Masala Bay. I'll give them a shout out. They're like a family owned restaurant about 5 minutes from where I live, and
Mm-hmm.
they are like, in her words, like a Mediterranean Chipotle kind of thing. And there is a
Okay.
place called Kava, which is a chain
Yep.
like that
Yep.
that she
They have
kind of
one
modeled
over
her
here.
stuff. They do as well. Okay, good. I found out about them relatively recently, so I wasn't sure if they're how popular they are. But I love that type of food because I feel like it's very flavorful, and I'm not exactly sure just how healthy it is, but I feel like it's healthier than a lot of other things that I could be eating. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
rock
I
with it
saw
as
you. I
often as
saw
I
you
can.
posting on IG. Like I saw you say like that you could eat like the hummus
Oh yeah,
with
oh
the with
yeah.
all that all day. So
I
yeah,
did
yeah.
say, yeah.
It's that vibe, bro. Like it is. So the only thing that I would say wouldn't that isn't the healthiest is just the frying of the chickpeas.
Sure.
But outside of that, I think it's. I mean, because just what's in chickpeas, just grounded up chickpeas, like your seasonings, and then like parsley and like cilantro. I think
Yeah.
that's what makes it green in the inside.
Right,
If you
right.
ever have
And
ones
correct,
that are green, so
I think I
huh?
actually have for sure. I actually didn't know that. I didn't know
Yep.
what those were in there because I don't always see them green on the inside, but I have seen it in the past. Correct me if I'm wrong. You are into cooking as well, right? Like a big
Very
part
much so.
of what you're.
Very much
Yeah,
so.
right. Okay. Because you
Yeah.
were talking. So all right. So we got a lot to talk about. Let's allow you to just give a high level about yourself to not to me because I already know, but to whoever is going to be watching this after I release it.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, my name's Xavier Marcel. So yeah, I do music. So I produce music. Really looking to get into like more like music supervision. So putting my music with like films and commercials and
Yeah.
things of that nature. So I do that. I take photos too. I'm nice at that. I do creative
Mm-hmm.
direction. I'm nice at that. And then, I play around with videography because I got a camera in my hand. So if it can do
Mm-hmm.
video, I'm all game for it. So yeah.
Dope.
Yeah, that's
Dope.
yeah, that's me. That's me. That's what I do.
Xavier.jpg. Xavier Marcel.jpg. Which one is it? The new one you
So
created.
I
Let me
got I
see.
got two. I got two.
Yeah.
So my main one's Xavier Marcel, and then the other one's Xavier or xmarcel.jpg, where it's like
X
all my
Marcel.
yeah, that's where all my photography stuff goes. I wanted to separate it just because like I didn't because I can do so much. I didn't want my main page to get so confusing. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah, yeah,
mean?
yeah. Sure,
And I
sure,
didn't want to
sure.
be like there's photos that I post on that page that I may not have ever put on my main page, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
but these deserve to get out. Like people should be able to see these.
Mm.
So I made
Yeah.
that other page just to have that separation, so I could be free to do more. And it's crazy. Like I really do like I do different things on that page. Like I actually hashtag, which I never do on my main page. I
Mm.
tag companies, which I never do on my main page because I'm just like I don't want all the spam that comes with it.
Ah,
You know,
gotcha.
so I try
Okay.
to
Yeah.
avoid that on my main page. And I'm like, I was always like, even when hashtag first came out, I was like, I only want the people that follow me to like my stuff. I can care less about all these like random people. Like I only
Sure.
wanted the people that rock with me to really rock with it. So
Yeah.
on my other page, I kind of do more of that, and I'm more open just because it just feels like a brand new space.
So let me ask you this: in terms of the, I guess, level of effort managing, having slash managing two different pages, is that something that is feels like a lot, or is it kind of just like kind of flowing nicely so far?
No, it's easy. It's probably the best decision I could have made
Mm.
because I was back and forth whether I should do it or not. But no, like
Sure.
people say that they'd be like, "Oh, it's a lot of work," and I'm like, not necessarily, especially because that other page is mainly for fun. Like, it's not like I'm trying to like, oh, here's this business thing that I'm trying to run and I need it to look like this. I need to have this many followers. Like, that's not the goal. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just posting photos that I like. So like, I literally wake up in the morning, post a photo on the JPEG page. Then I'll go to my main page and literally, because I just posted, I'm the first thing that comes up. So then I just share it in my story and it's just like, cool.
And then just rinse, repeat, and enjoying it and just having fun with the process. So you got videography, photography, so you have the visual aspects, and then a major part of what you do is not just producing music, but also like being a connoisseur. That's the word I'm gonna use. Connoisseur of like good and interesting and unique and just like all different types of music, like the stuff that you were doing on Twitch and everything. So
100%.
Talk a little about like your musical side of things as well for a bit.
Yeah. So real quick, like I literally just seen before this call, like Steve Aoki, he's like a producer, DJ guy. He just introduced like the first company to do like music grading. So like I don't probably like 2 weeks ago when my cousin came to Atlanta, we went to go like to like a card show where they grade like basketball, baseball, football cards. You know, people sell these cards that are like highly scouted out for like $3,000, $4,000, $8,000, $10,000. You know, so Steve Aoki just dropped or just announced his company that does that same exact thing, and he's looking to do CDs, vinyl, cassettes, and 8-tracks. And you can like literally get your vinyls or CDs like professionally graded and give them numbers. So it's just like if you have like a really high sought out vinyl, it could be worth like a lot of money. So for example, not to stunt, but I'm a stunt.
Yeah, let's do it. We got to start the stunting early in this conversation. Let people know what's going on, you know?
Yes. Cool. So I got two that would be very high sought out. So one is Frank Ocean's Blonde.
Shoot. Fire. Okay.
So if you see a lot of people that have this vinyl, a lot of people have like a re-release. So they don't have this. This is an official version. Like I bought this when Frank Ocean announced it. So this is like an official version. Not too many people. I don't know too many people that have this. So if I went to go get this graded, this would probably be worth a lot of bread.
So awesome.
Similar to this.
Who is that? Is that 21 Savage?
This is Lupe Fiasco. So this is Food and Liquor 1 and 2.
I mean, that's one of my top 5 favorite artists. I guess I couldn't. He looks like him a little bit with the lighting.
It's hard to tell, but yeah.
Okay, Food and Liquor 1 and 2 together. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so
incredible.
Mine. So with this, he only released so many. And mine, I have a higher number, but you know, I have number 6,708. You know, there was only 7,000 that were pressed.
Ah, wow, that's incredible, man. And so you know about these coming out, you purchase them expecting that they're going to have some value down the road, but you listen to them and then, because I'm brand, I don't know much at all about like actual physical records and stuff. So walk me through like that process, like after you get the record, what happens?
So what's hilarious is I don't even have a vinyl player. Like I don't have one. But I buy them.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. I buy them in anticipation because like I want one, but I want to have my setup correct. You know what I'm saying? So I really want to have like a dope vinyl player, you know, the speakers, like I want it set up. So because like I don't have my house where I'm like, this is where I'm going to be for a while. I don't want to build all that, set it up and have to tear it down. You know what I'm saying? I just want to, when I build it, I want to be like, cool, it's up. So that's why I don't have one. And I don't want to get a cheap one and then play my records on them. And then the cheap vinyl player ends up scratching them or ruining, you know, my vinyl, or I'm not getting the quality. Because, like, you know, to me, vinyl sound, it has a different sound than playing it off of your phone. You know, it's just a different listening experience. So I collect them now. So my thing was, my concept of mine was being like, these vinyls may not always be here. Like if they go, they go. Like when they print them and they not there no more, they gone. But I can always go get a vinyl player. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it's more easy for me to go get a vinyl player than it is for me to wait. Like if I would have waited to try to get this Lupe album, I wouldn't have it. If I would have waited for this Frank Ocean album, I wouldn't have it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So those you kind of have to get them when they making them versus the vinyl player. Like the vinyl player, they can discontinue that, but I highly doubt they're gonna discontinue it. Like you will be able to find one. So I'm more confident in finding a vinyl player down the line than I am waiting to build my collection. So when I get the vinyl player, I'm like, look, I have over 150 vinyls to run through. So,
yeah. That's really cool, man. I'm thinking about what you said about the difference in terms of sound quality too, with records versus the way that most people consume music nowadays. And I was at my uncle's house down in South Carolina, the northern part near Charlotte, and his basement, bro, is just like unbelievably dope with like the record player and like the tower and like everything. Just the way it looks, immaculate. He had this really, really dope CD and record like collection. So like even just like looking through, he's like, hey, what would you like to listen to? I was like, oh, you can play, whatever you recommend, whatever you want to hear. He's like, no, you're the guest. Like, what would you like to hear? So I'm like looking through there, and I ended up picking out Blueprint 1. Right, he had Jay-Z's CD in this particular case. We also did listen to some vinyls, and for me, I'm not like a sound aficionado kind of person, or what is that called? Like that's not the right word.
Audiophile.
Audiophile, that's what I'm looking for. Thank you. That's not really me, but I was curious to know. I've heard that a lot about like the difference, and I listened there in this room with these high quality speakers and amps and everything, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I hear a difference for sure. And so that's definitely cool, man. That you're amassing that collection.
And one of my main things about collecting is something that we say in physical education all the time was just being like, you should own your vinyl or own your music physically, because you never know when the artist can just take these albums down whenever they want, and you can't listen to your favorite album. Like for me, like if I go on streaming, I can't find Mos Def's The Ecstatic. It's not there. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't hear
album.
It. It's a great album, but lucky for me, I bought it when I was in high school, and I have the physical CD of it. So I can still play it. Versus other people that the only way you may be able to hear it is if you go on YouTube. But Spotify ain't got it, Tidal ain't got it, Apple Music ain't got it. None of them got it.
Why do so many places not have it? Is something with the rights or something like that?
Something with the rights, right? Or something they be like, their label restricted this album isn't available in your country. Like there was an album I tried to listen to and only one song was available. Every other song, like the other 10 songs were like they're not available in your country. And I was just like, what?
What is this? Yeah, what's
what I mean?
Here?
So it's always good to own your music physically, because then you can listen to your favorite songs whenever you want. And no one can tell you. And the only way that someone can tell me not to play it is if they come in my house and try to take my vinyls from me, which ain't happening. So it's just like that's the only way they can dictate what I can play.
When I'm in the process now of like promoting, I have my album coming out right in a couple of months, Kayla Joy album, and I being a big fan of Teenage Engineering and seeing their record creator thing. Have you seen this before?
Yep,
right?
I should have bought one.
I'm sure you have, right?
I'm super irritated I didn't buy one. It was only $150. The vinyls were only $20. Yeah, I should have bought one. I kicked myself for not. And I had it up. I was at work and I was like, this is fire. I've been waiting for them to do this, because I remember when they talked about it. And I was looking at it and I was I knew when they were dropping
doing something like this.
Yep.
Okay, wow.
So then when they dropped it, I was looking at it at work and I was like, I could spend $150 on this, but I was just like, I don't know. Should I? I was just like, and I chose not to. I made it a business decision. I was like, no, I'm not going to. And then now I look back at it and I'm like, I should have that. That should be in my house. That should be in my house, where it's just like, because I love the concept of it. Like, it's not the greatest sounding vinyl. I watch people do it on YouTube. Like even in the description, it says lo-fi, like version of the record. But the fact of the matter that you can literally record it on a vinyl is nuts. Like that concept is nuts.
It is. It is. And I'm so if I understand correctly, because again, you're talking to someone who's not in that space as much. You got like the vinyl that you just showed me, like the regular size ones, right? And these are smaller ones that this Teenage Engineering
I think they're
makes, right?
I think it's a 5. It's either a 5 or a 7. Okay. It's
those numbers correspond to like the radius or something like that, or diameter. I'll put my math hat on for a second.
Yes. Okay. Never mind. I don't know where it is quick enough. Like I have a I have a Kanye vinyl like that.
Yeah. It's like a smaller.
Yeah, I don't know where it is, but it is smaller. It's probably around this big. It's just so yeah, you can still play it on a normal vinyl player, but you just have to have a mat underneath it or something like that. It's either you have to have a mat or you have to have just like a disc around it so it can actually play it.
Okay, got it. That's what I was going to ask. Like, is it playable? Yep. So the idea, from what I understood with that piece of equipment, which is definitely fascinating to me, it's like we make all this music. But like so I'm releasing mine on Bandcamp, and then it's going to go a week later on all streaming platforms. And so for me, like to have a limited number of releases of this album, for example, which I still can do if I decide to do it. I was kind of thinking through this lens. Is very special, right? Like 100 copies physically of this. If you're like someone who wants to be on this wave, if you believe in me and XYZ, there's an opportunity to support in that type of way, and hopefully it can be of value to you down the road. Yep. I might need to get my hands on that piece of equipment too. I know it's sold out everywhere, but I need to go through the back channels or something and see what's up.
Yeah, that or you should just make CDs. To be honest. Like regardless,
true, exactly.
You should just you should make CDs. Like I encourage all my musician friends to make physicals of their projects because it's amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like even my first project, which I'm sure you probably never even heard. I'll send it to you. But it's just like the first project that I ended up making. Like I made CDs off that. I made CDs and I still have it. And I get to look at that physical piece, and I'm like, dang, like I really made this project in 2013, and I'm sitting here looking at it.
That's really cool, man.
I feel like I should have been better prepared with all these. Like I don't have
going back there. You don't have anything. You got to have at least. Well, no, you did have 2 things. You had the 2 albums. That was like a nice little show and tell situation.
Yeah. So this is my first. So this is what it looks like. So this is like the cover of it. And
yeah.
And this is like the back artwork. So this was literally like my very first like CD like that I made for it.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like,
that's a sleeve right there, right? Is that what that is?
Yeah,
CD
yeah.
sleeve
It's just a normal. Yeah, just a normal.
So it doesn't even need to be. You can do this, and then or when you mentioned CDs, I was thinking of. I was like, oh, but I'm gonna have to do like the pamphlet and do this and do that and do that, and those things don't excite me as much. They make me a little bit of a deterrent, but you don't have to do all that. You can do this, and you can do whatever you want. You can have like a little. Like I'm doing like I don't know if you saw on my socials and stuff, but I'm doing like a handwritten note, right, kind of thing, where each song is described to my daughter, and that can be
an insert,
a pamphlet and something just like the or insert, a pamphlet's like a brochure to but an insert in there for sure. So you got me thinking. I'm gonna. I guess
no, you should definitely. You need to because like. It'll last. It's way cooler to look back at it. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that I can physically hold this and it's like this is a manifestation of an idea that I had and completed in 2013. I physically can see this. I can literally load it and I can play it. And it's crazy because it's just like it's not on streaming outside of SoundCloud. It's not there. Like you can't find it. And that's my own fault. But if you have the physicals, then you can listen to it whenever you want. You don't need me. You don't have to wait for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You have the luxury
exactly.
to do it whenever you like. So I think you should have it because like physically, like you get to look back at your work, you know what I'm saying, years later and be like, wow, I really did this and I really have this on physical.
Yeah, I love the idea. I'm gonna definitely take that to heart and really
And
think it
making
through
CDs is
and
like
kind of
mad
just.
cheap. It's mad cheap.
That's what I was gonna ask. Price as well as I guess turnaround time and stuff is probably not anything over the top crazy. I would imagine.
Nope.
Yeah,
Hella cheap.
it's like yeah.
Making
Okay.
vinyl is more
All
expensive,
right.
but making CDs, dumb cheap.
Yeah, dump cheap. So making CDs are dump cheap. Got it. Okay, cool, cool. So, all right. So I want to talk about the teenage engineering bags. I stopped you in our conversation before because I kind of mentioned to you that your level of enthusiasm about those bags and just fashion in general and style and all that kind of stuff it really spoke to me and kind of made me feel just more excited to receive these and be able to display them, in my other studio, the top down camera, and like let that enthusiasm and excitement kind of show through the video. So I'm excited about this. But I want to know like your opinions of those of the duty bags, because you shared it. You could say the same thing if you want again, or just what's on your mind about them.
Yeah, so I just enjoy them because like one, like the color yellow just is gonna stand out for one. But secondly, like I know like they made it, and it's just like not only should you just wear it or just have it and be like, okay, cool, I have this yellow bag, but it can also be used as a fashion statement, like like especially because they almost. I mean, it's not even almost. They specialize in portable gear. Their OP1 is portable. Their mixer is portable. Their bags. Like you need cool things to transport this fire material that they make. So it's just like it to me. Just like enjoying fashion, enjoying like just like putting on clothes and having things like if I wear like. I know blue goes well with yellow, so it's just like if I'm wearing like an all blue fit like this, and I just got this yellow bag on me. Like that just looks sick. It just looks sick. So it's just like I'm just like, oh, this is more than just gear. Like this is more than just a bag that I use to carry this gear. It's a fashion statement. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just like people would be like, yo, what's in that bag? It's just like, oh, it's my OP1. It's like, oh, it's my keyboard. They'd be like, it's all that for a keyboard. And it's like, yeah, I keep my keyboard, the cables, my mixer. I keep this all in here. So it's like I can just produce at a drop of a dime.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And especially as a working, moving, traveling musician, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that's just comes in clutch, and it's a small form factor and it just works. Or you can get the big duffel bag and just put everything in there and carry it like a tote bag. But it's just like instead of just being like, oh, what's in your tote bag? And it's like, oh, I got books or this or that. It's just like, oh, what's in there? It's just like, it's all my music gear, what I use to like be a producer on the daily. So it's like it's a way cooler like your everyday carry bag. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I love EDC, so it's like I love everyday carry. So it's just like even for me, like I'm always on the hunt for like what's a solid design and what also looks awesome. And if you hit those two things, and especially if it's portable, I'm sold. Yeah, I'm sold. I'm just like, yes, I need that. Right. And me as well. I love color, so I love the fact that even just their keyboard in general just has color on it. I also just watched the YouTube video about the OP1. That it's like they built that keyboard. They built one. It's the best keyboard for literally iOS production. Like if you do iOS, like even if you don't, but especially if you do iOS, like that is like the literally the perfect keyboard. But it's like they built I can tell the designers are like, we like this and we like video games. Because like a lot of the functionalities that are in there emulate video games, or it has video game like essences in there. Like I think I've seen like the drum, like there's a drum machine and it's like two gorillas like playing the drums. Yeah. And I'm just like, if that doesn't remind you of like the old school Donkey Kong, like throwing barrels, like I don't know what else does. Like even down to the 8-bit design, you know what I'm saying? Sure. It's just like, like I can see, it's almost like I can see their train of thought, and I'm like, it's a genius train of thought that they have, because I'm just like, yo, like you pay attention to nostalgia, you pay attention to form factor, you pay attention to, you know, what people would want to have in a keyboard, and then you also pay attention to like how we would want to rock it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm
Part of the
saying,
whole
and making it look
experience.
sick. So, like I said, like they be in they bag, I'm such a fan.
Bro, same here, man. Yeah, and I'm, you know, we could talk definitely a little bit about it now too. You know, the idea that we had, I'm like very excited about it. I think that, I think talking to you on the phone and even hearing you now talk about their equipment with such reverence, and not having a chance. I mean, do you know anyone that has one physically? Have you seen one? Or
Henny,
yeah, right.
Henny
Oh
was.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, so okay, so you have seen one with him using it, I guess. Okay, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I also don't like messing with his too much, because like, you know, that's his thing. So I'm just kind of like, hey man,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you rock. Like he be like, come on, try it, and I'll be like, all right, and then I'll be trying it, and I'll be like, man, this is fire. Like I'm like, you may not want to leave me alone with this too long, because
Yeah.
I'm gonna start tapping in.
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying? And
right.
he gonna be like, is this my keyboard or your keyboard? It's like it's our keyboard now. Like
Right, at this
now
point,
it's
yeah.
ours.
Yeah.
You know.
Bro, I think what's exciting to me, honestly, like is seeing you have a chance to have one and use it and see what you do with it from the music perspective, but also now talking about like you said photography. Like imagine that scenario where now you're doing what I'm doing, right? I love going to coffee shops, doing my live streams and stuff there, but like the aesthetic in these different coffee shops. I was talking to someone the other day who said he used to do that a lot, coffee shops, but now he goes to like really nice hotel lobbies. I was like, oh, that's
That's a
pretty
flex.
cool too.
That's a flex.
Right?
I'm not gonna lie, because like when I was in the DR,
Yeah.
I made a lot of beats just in the lobby, like just in,
Bro.
because it's pretty in there, just because it's
Yeah,
pretty, and they
man.
let you be in there.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, and that's one of the things that for me, and I know you and a lot of others who are in this mobile music space, who whether it's, you know, iPad or TE or whatever piece of equipment that you could take with you and just go somewhere else. There's so much inspiration to be had outside of the studio.
Yep.
That's like one of the first things that you and I talked about. I remember when you first joined Henny's Patreon. I think when you introduced yourself, and you were talking about being outside, being outdoors, and doing the music stuff, and you spoke about it with, you know, real what's the word? Just like you were very vivid with what that means to you, like
Yeah.
being literally outdoors making music. And so we're in the world now where we can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We've been doing it. So I'm excited, man, to get that in your hands, and then even like we were kind of bouncing some ideas off of each other and just kind of thinking through like what a video series could look like. So I want to talk about that a little bit now,
Yeah.
and kind of like see what ideas maybe you have, and kind of just brainstorming session.
Yeah. So even before we do that, like especially like when I get my hands on one of them, like I'll probably end up taking a trip to Vegas, because like I've had the idea since I got this Yamaha mixer, because it's portable, and I was just like, yo, I should go down to the Grand Canyon and make a beat down there. I should just set up.
see?
I should just set up,
Yeah.
and I should make a beat. Who goes down to the Grand Canyon? He's like, I'm gonna make a beat. Who does
Yeah.
that? You know, but you
Yeah.
know what would be even crazier? It's like to do that and then also like have a singer with you and have them record with natural reverb and natural echoes. Like it's just like that concept is crazy. And we can
Yeah.
do it now. So it's just
Yeah.
like, if you like, the ability just to like do stuff mobilely is nuts, because like you can really, instead of like being like, oh, like I put this rain effect sound in my track, or oh, I put this car passing in my track. It's just like, oh, like I was actually outside when that happened, and
Yeah,
that's just in the
exactly.
record. Like that's
Right.
just in the recording. So it's just like I didn't
Yeah.
put it in there. It's just in there. You know
just
what I'm
there.
saying? And it's just like, that's a different level of producing. That's a different level of production. That's a different level of just pure awareness and just creating. It's new. It's refreshing. It takes you out of this box where we are, because we live in homes. Homes are based off of boxes, you know, like squares and triangles.
Sure.
You know,
Exactly.
And and it takes us outside of that and puts us in like a whole different space. I'm surprised Rick Rubin just isn't like the leader of all, just being like, yeah, we should all be outside making beats. He just seems like the guy that's just like, yeah, we should be outside like making beats all the time. Like we should go outside and record. Like it's nice outside.
Yeah.
Like forget
Yeah.
coming in this isolated room. Let's go
Yeah.
outside and do it.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Like
For sure.
it's just like I see people like now, like, they'll do their music videos. They'd be like, oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna hang the mic and like we'll rap it like it's outside. But it's just like, did you really record that whole thing outside? Like,
Right.
like why
Did
don't you
really?
try that? Just to give a different feel.
Yeah.
It's just to challenge that idea. It's just to challenge the space. So
You know what it is, X? I think, whenever it is that we have a conversation, there's always a something that we have in common, which is that we both have a lot of, and I think both of us would say just good ideas, right?
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
boils down to whether or not we have the time or the finances or just the drive to actually execute them. And it's an interesting thing. It's like, you mentioned the idea about. So let me ask you about the Grand Canyon idea. How likely would you say, knowing yourself, that you're going to do that?
man, I've been trying to do it. I just like, especially because like I'm really on my new travel, like just really just being like, I'm gonna take time off work and I'm gonna just go. So like I'm really trying to get down there before July because my cousin lives down there. So I'm trying to go
Oh.
visit her while she's
Dope.
there before she
Yeah.
moves, and then be like, cool, I'm visiting you, and also take me to the Grand Canyon. You know what I'm saying?
Also
So I could just go
true.
down there and just like make a beat. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I just think that's awesome. But I had the idea when I first got the iPad and everything, and I was still trying to figure out what apps worked for me, like how to do it. Because I'm coming from Logic, so I'm just sitting here like I'm used to everything moving like this. In iOS, it's just like it can move however. It's just like depending on the app you like. Loopy is, it can move like this, but it also can move so much freeing, and it's just like, how the hell do I do what I normally do here? But now I feel like I found apps that work. I figured like that I found a little bit of a groove, so now I can be
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, I could actually make a beat down there. Because I'm like, I think even the beat that I played in the Patreon yesterday, like I made that by the pool. You know what I'm saying? Like I had my headphones and my iPad. That's it. And I made that by the pool. So it's just like showing myself that it's just like, oh, I can literally make these beats wherever. It's crazy.
It's wild.
Yeah,
It
that's
is.
why that teenage, and the teenage engineering, the OP1 is a cheat code because it has its own sounds. That's the biggest cheat code of all time. Like of all time, because you can sample into it. It has drum sounds, it has its synth sounds, keyboard sounds, like it has everything integrated in it. So
Yeah.
like, especially when you use a program like Loopy Pro, it's just like if I wanted to like add like a kick and a snare and like add these sounds, I can literally do it from this keyboard. And their
Just
keyboard
effortlessly.
is smaller than mine. Like this is like the CME X Key Air, like 37 keys. Like this is tough for me to carry around. This don't fit in my backpack. So I can't carry this. But that
Right.
OP1 is like what, 24, 25 keys?
Something like that. I think 25. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
like, it's a cheat code. So it's like one, it's not, and that's just MIDI. So I have to have a host program
yeah.
of a sound just to use that keyboard. With the OP1, because it has its own sounds. It's like, cool. Now I don't need to deal with another outside app. I can
Right.
literally record straight in.
right in there.
Ain't
Bro,
that crazy?
it's a remarkable piece of equipment. And I think what I find kind of interesting is when I have conversations with other people, or even just look at and watch, stuff that they do with their, OP1 Field, for example, or regular OP1. And even the OPZ to an extent as well. It's like, but more so the OP1. There's like so many different things that it can do, and so many different ways to use it. Like for a while, I wasn't even really like using the sounds in there. For a while, what I was doing is I was like finding any of my favorite songs, and I was recording like moments of my favorite songs onto tape. Like not like my music, but just ones I like listening to, recording them onto tape, and then like just manipulating them, dude. Like slowing down the pitch, speeding up the pitch, adding the effects on there, looping a certain part, and then jumping while it's playing. So it's kind of like remixing the song and then performing it, kind of similar to what I was doing a lot of with the OB4 there. But now being able to do it, you know, on this piece of equipment with, you know, better sound and headphone capabilities and stuff. There's no output on there. It's remarkable. And no one, and when I mentioned to, I think you know Brandon Rico. I'm sure you do online. So I was chatting with him because he recently got an OP1 failed actually, and I was talking to him, and he's like, yeah, like he's the complete other end of the spectrum. Like when he first got his, he was like, oh no, yeah, I'm not putting like my music or music I like listen to on there. He's like, I'm like using what's on there already to like create brand new stuff. And I started kind of dabbling a little bit more with that, but it's just really cool because at a time I would feel a little bit like with my, let's say like Roland Phantom, like 88 key workstation that's over there off camera, I would feel a little bit like overwhelmed with the capabilities of a piece of hardware and feel like in order for me to get my money's worth or to really get like my return of investment with time of using something, I felt like I needed to know everything about the piece of equipment. Like I needed to know how to synthesize on there, how to produce, how to do every single element. But now it's kind of like just because a piece of hardware can do everything doesn't mean that you have to learn everything within a certain time frame. Like have fun with whatever's bringing you joy at that moment, and just know that, oh, if you get bored or if you need some more inspiration, there are other things to unlock, you know, in the equipment.
No, 100%. There are 100 ways to use it. There are new things that you can do, you know, and I think that's the best part about it. Like I've seen so many different people use the OP1 in so many different ways, and I'm just like, that's how I learned different stuff. I'm like, dang, I didn't even know you could do that because the last guy didn't do that, or the last girl I seen, she did it like this is what she used it for. Now when I watch someone else and they use it completely different, I'm like, okay, this machine is a lot. Like you can do so much. I'm like, I get it, you know, but it's fire. Also, yeah, shout out to Brandon Rico because like them 2 beats he made off it that he posted, crazy. I was just like, bro. Yeah. I was like, dude.
Right. He just had it for a couple of days. He sent me one of those two. Like I think the day he got it, he sent it to me. And I'm like, there's no way. I was like, there's no way you made this on there after just having it for a day. But that goes to show, you know, super talented individual, but also but super talented individual, one statement. And also the piece of equipment is just, it's inspiring. It invokes that type of creativity. It pulls that 100%. Creativity out of people. And for me, like I bought the OPZ when it first came out. And for me, the music that I've been able to create on there is miles better than anything that I created on either the original OP1 or even the OP1 Field. They're so different. The OPZ is nowhere near as popular a piece of equipment. But something about the sequencing workflow on there and the way that you could perform stuff afterwards, and now using like the bread and butter, like the setup that I'm just like, oh my God, like this is crazy, is like using those 3 pieces of equipment, the Z, the Field, and sometimes usually the mixer, and having my headset and being at a coffee shop and being able to play these beats on the Z that I have a ton of songs that are on there that I can just perform, improvise on the keys on the OP1 Field, and then be able to either sing or talk to and engage with my headset, and all in this like small compact setup. It's like, yo, I can't even. I'm just like, I'm having mad fun with it, bro. It's like, it's insane.
Yeah, that mixer is a cheat code. That mixer is insane. The mixer is insane. Like just seeing how small it is crazy. And then seeing what it can do is crazy. And I'm just like,
yeah, it really is. I would say one of the things that I picked up on that I just, there's so much on there. I mean, there's a hidden, I saw someone post, I had no idea about this, but there's a hidden block breaker game on there. You mentioned video games. Yeah. So you press and hold some buttons and you could just turn the knob, like just the one knob, the main knob on there so it's like mad cool just to have that. It's like, of course they'll have something like that. Yeah. But they have this audio ducking feature, mic ducking feature on there, which to me is a huge deal, because now when I'm filming videos on there or live streaming and I need to say something, I don't have to, there are ways to creatively hit like the tape stop button to get like the tape scratch and then like make the music stop and then talk. So that's cool to do. But like if you're just like interacting or something like that, like to have that capability to duck the volume so you don't have to do it in post is like it's insane how well it works. I think one thing that I would probably like to see, and maybe they will, or maybe it might complicate it and maybe they won't, is a little bit of customization on there, as in how much do you want it to duck, and more importantly, how long do you want after you say something for the volume to stay ducked. I would like it a little bit longer, because that sometimes I feel like pressure to like keep talking, like, you know what I'm saying, no breaks in between, so that the regular volume doesn't come back. But I feel like, you know, that's like a small thing that maybe they'll put in there eventually, maybe.
Got you. Yeah, no, that mixer is tight. But you were saying earlier, sorry, because I know we took a mad tangent off that. You were saying about the creative stuff.
Yeah, I want to talk about that, like about some ideas, like brainstorm a little bit the ideas for the series that we're gonna work together and collaborate on.
So with the OP1, like just making beats.
Yeah, making stuff and then doing like videos and then publishing them and kind of. Yeah, like kind of like some type, like what I actually thought a little bit about was like kind of like what Henny did with Adventures in Beat Making, that type of thing, but with whatever, like however we want to display it. I mean, there's to me it's kind of like, because this is kind of the way I'm thinking of it, and then I would love to hear your opinion. Like, because our minds both work in a way where we can probably sit down and come up with like 100 ideas a piece on like what would be a cool way to showcase ourselves, you know, yourself in this case, right? Showcase yourself using the OP1. We can think about cooking. We can think about doing the Grand Canyon. We think about coffee shops, like basically finding every coffee shop or every type of place like that within a certain mile radius and like going to every one of them and making a beat in different ones there. There's probably just endless ideas that we can come up with. So I think for us, what would be fun is to, I guess, kind of figure out like what would be the most fun to do in terms of a video series. I didn't even think about this before, but originally the idea was send it to you, you have it, and then you kind of spearhead, right, the video creation and, you know, the editing and produce the stuff, leveraging my audience, and the OP1 and Chill account and all that stuff. So like that still I think should be like the main thing, but and then coming up with, you know, however many, is it 10, is it 12, is it 24, like whatever series with the cadences weekly at a certain time, all that. But then in addition to that, like I can have some involvement where it can either be, like I mentioned, like right in this setting with like the same camera and the lighting right back there. It can be me opening the video up or some videos up, just talking about whatever the topic is, like the topic that this video, you know, like some of the different things we talked about, things that we're interested in. We can have something like that, and then like the B-roll is your footage that you're filming with the OP1. But I'll pause for a sec. I'm kind of just like open. You have like a wealth of, you know, like ideas and inspiration and stuff like that, I feel like, as well. So I kind of want to know like what you're feeling about this opportunity and like what you see making sense for you.
The opportunity is, it's you know, it's crazy. It's an opportunity that I definitely prayed for, and I was just like, I've been telling people. I was like, what I wanted to do, I was like, I'm gonna prove to myself first that I should have an OP1. That was my mind. I was just like, I'm gonna make beats, I'm gonna do all this stuff, and I'm gonna prove to myself that I need to spend this money to get this piece of gear. That was my mindset, you know. And then, but I also was just like, well, God, if you bring me an opportunity where I can get my hands on one, like, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go crazy. And then, you know, then you came with the opportunity, and I'm just like, you heard me. So I'm just like, all right, God, you about to present me with this opportunity. I'm gonna do what I said I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna go crazy. You know, so
fire.
You know, in my mind, I didn't really have like too many ideas. I just knew where it's just like, I know the one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down and I'm going to make a ton of beats. I'm going to make a ton of beats, you know, like, and I was just like, I'll figure anything else on the other side out. You know what I'm saying? But the main thing is like, I have to make beats. So like I've been doing like pre pre-research in advance, like been watching how to use OP1. What does this do?
Yeah.
What does that
Sure.
do? So as soon as I get my hands on it, I'm like, cool, I'm running. I'm running.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend, I don't want to have to spend 2 weeks trying to learn it. You know what I'm saying? I want to spend like a couple days playing with it. It's like, cool. Well, I get this, we'll get everything else on the other side, but at least I can make beats so we can start, you know, especially like building the OP1 and chill page.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And just like really seeing like the growth of that and just putting like just different beats, different sounds on there. You know what I'm saying? And just growing that. It's like, cool, well, here's a ton of beats. And I'm like, and I also know that's like, I seen myself like a month ago make 13 beats in 7 days. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, I'm just in my mind, just like, okay, bro, you just need to lock in and do what you do and produce, you know? And as far as just like collab, I'm like, man, like it could be anything from like remixing stuff. It's actually crazy because I had some stuff in mind. I actually do have a track specifically where I was just like, I want Kev to play all the keys to this so I can take the sample out and have him do it. And then I don't have to worry about paying for a sample because I had you play it. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
And then like, I'll send it to you. I actually exported it.
Okay, for sure.
But like even things like that where it's just like, yo, like you can send, like you send me keys and, you know, like I'll sample them keys in the OP1, put drums around it, do this. Cool. Psh, off and running.
Right. And we go back and forth with that.
Yeah, like that.
Keep the creativity flowing.
Yeah, that remixing reels, you know, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Just different things that are just like, you know, I'm a big fan of just like, yo, if there's a layup, take the layup.
Yeah.
You know, no need, like, you know, I'm not Steph Curry from the three. Like I'm not just going to or Dame Lillard since he just dropped 71 last night.
But also not insane. He's that dude.
He is that guy. Like, I'm not going to stop like 3 steps from half court and pull a three. Like, I'm going to take the easy shot. I'm going to like, yo, if I'm in, give me the layup. Give me the layup. I'm taking the layup. I'll take the 2. So it's just like, as far as just the ideas, that's where I'm like, yeah, I'm taking the layups where it's just like crank out a ton of beats and then work on the collab based off of the music. Let the music be the base of everything and then let the collabs happen from that.
Yeah.
So,
bro,
go ahead.
It makes a ton of sense, man. I'm just as excited as you, man. I think when it comes to, you know, the ideas and the word that you used several times just now, like collaboration, that's like the thing that I want to focus a lot more on. And I won't even beat a dead horse, but yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be just incredible, and we'll just now like kind of pinpoint or whatever the word is, like just kind of detail like what the precise plan is and stuff. But
and I think even like from what you were doing, because you did something yesterday where you're like a tip on chords. You know, where it's just like, yo, like you just sitting down, or when you do your lives, and it's just like if you just playing chords, it's just like that's easy for me because I sample a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I can just take that, throw it in the OP1 or throw it somewhere, chop it, replay it, and then produce around it.
Yeah.
That's a collab.
Yeah. Right. For sure. It's fire, man. I think when it comes, like you were mentioning about your primary thing, making beats. And I think for me, I kind of haven't made like a lot of, I'm not like making new music regularly right now. I'm like in a season where I'm doing a lot of other things and, you know, making content. Occasionally when I feel creative or something, like obviously I'll make something, but it's nowhere near what Henny's doing right now in terms of like that creative output, which is amazing and inspiring, as we always say, seeing other people kind of lock in like that. And I think as I was going through and listening to some of my old music, and just I think a lot of us probably have just a lot of stuff that we've created. And I think one of the most important things for me right now, like, I mentioned the album. Now that I have this album that's like finally, you know, at the finish line, now I'm starting to think through the lens of, okay, what's next, right? What's next for, in terms of like, I want to work on another project right after. Like I feel that way, right? And one of which I mentioned, you know, we're going to do some collaborative thing with Henny's group and having his name sort of attached to the project and getting bro, there's too much talent in there, as you know.
Yeah.
That every week after week, we're like listening to stuff, and it's like, yo, it's like, come on,
Yeah.
right? So I want to put my, I used to work at Verizon, a systems integration engineer, which is a fancy way of saying like more of a technical project manager at a time. That was my favorite role, and I wore this hat where I was the point person to get these, high level projects done. And so this is a project. And so this is a creative project. And I just felt like super inspired a while ago when I messaged Henny about this. I was like, yo, it's like, this is what I want to do. I don't want like a DJ Khaled type thing where it's like a playlist of each song. I want some correlation, with what we're doing. But I say all that to say, with what Henny's doing with the I think BeatStars, like having the music that he's creating available, something like that. I need to have some type of way for what I've created to bring back value, or have people have a way of listening to it in an easier fashion. Whether that is just releasing more stuff regularly. I mean, that's one easy idea.
Yeah.
Or doing something similar to what Henny's working on. Yeah.
So one of my new ideas, I still have to write it down because I was watching this. I don't know if you heard of Michael Todd, but he's just like one.
Michael Todd, no.
Yeah, he's just one of these online pastors. But he was saying like if you have an idea and you don't write it down, it's just a dream. But if you have the idea and you actually write it down, that's when it becomes a vision.
And physically write it down on a piece of paper, probably.
Write it down or just put it in your phone, whatever. As long as it's written somewhere that you can go back and review it instead of it being locked here.
Gotcha.
So like the idea that I have, because I'm very much I like to base things around experience. Like my whole thing with music is just like, I like music to be paired with something. So it's just like music and, music and food. Like music in an event space, music and a video, music and a photo. Like I like music to go with something.
Sure.
Like a good wine or like a drink. Like it's just like it's best paired with this. And something that I want to do, something that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a space, like a really, really beautiful space. And it's like I'm going to like pretty much play vinyl in this place, like vinyl, CD, whatever, but mainly vinyl, because like I don't think most people have heard records played like this, and I want to put them in a room and just like play these records and have them listen to it. And I also do, and I want to serve them, because I don't drink, so I want to serve them mocktails that I feel like goes well with what we're playing.
Yeah.
So it's like a whole experience. So with you saying about just like trying to push your music out there, like to me, the best way that I see is an experience. So just really just creating an experience for people and then showcasing the music like that. I think that's one of the best ways outside, because I'm like, I kind of want to just get off the net and not just be just like, okay, cool, it's here. Like I want to show up in person and be like, yo, come to this environment and hear this music, because you ain't going to hear it like this in your phone, in your car. You just not going to hear it like this, especially if I go get some high fidelity speakers, especially with Adobe Atmos going crazy, especially with spatial audio that's here. If I go get some high fidelity speakers, I set up this beautiful ass space and I put a speaker, like, for example, like when I was in high school, because I went to school for music engineering, I heard they played the OJ's record, that money, 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 money. You know that song?
Sure.
They played that record, right? I didn't know, like if you put four speakers, like two, that what they do bounces from speaker to speaker to speaker to speaker. That's what it does.
Back then. Wow.
I didn't know that.
Meaning when they recorded back then, you're saying?
Yeah. So like when you play it, when you put up 4 speakers, like it's not just in stereo. They didn't like there's versions where it's like it will go from, you'll hear like that, like money, 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 and it just bounces around. And I was sitting around in college like, Like,
what's going on?
what
there?
the
Yeah,
hell? Like, I've heard
yeah.
that song a million times, but I had never heard it like that. You know,
Wow.
and I'm like, that's what I think is important.
That's an experience.
You know, something that I won't forget. You know, so
Yeah.
I think more so like what I'm trying to get into, that's why I'm into like music curation or music supervision or, you know, creative direction, because I really want to get into creating a space and playing this music in this space. Like, it's more than just like a party with a DJ. You know what I'm saying? This is like
Yeah.
a curated experience where you can feel this differently. I hope, my intention is for you to walk out differently than how you came. I don't want you to walk in. I don't want you to leave the same way you came.
Word.
You know, I
Word.
want, as long as you feel differently leaving, then I did my job.
All right. So there's a couple of things. So we're gonna wrap now.
Yeah.
I have to
My
invite
computer's
you.
about to die too. I got like 3%, but go crazy.
Hey, that's perfect timing. Look, I'm gonna invite you back on. First of all, I think we gotta have you back on and continue the conversation, and maybe this segues into like the yoga thing that we were talking about, because as you were describing that, I was just thinking about that a lot, right? So let's let it be that. Let's continue this, and I mean, I'm even thinking about some recurring guest type thing, and who knows if people are vibing with it the way that I think both of us are.
Yeah.
The right people find this.
Yep.
This could be something that we turn into something, because I love these conversations, and yeah, we'll leave it at that. Looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to collaborating.
Me too. It's going to be beautiful.